So my question is not centered around, but involves the recent election. Doesn't matter what party I usually vote for. On a personal level, on a human level, I feel like a man like Donald Trump is unfit to be the legal head and international representative of not just my own country, but also, arguably, potentially the greatest, or most, I don't know about the greatest, but most powerful country to ever exist in the history of the earth.
Fucking, right, who's the SGA president called in, man? Jesus Christ. I also love that he says it doesn't matter who I usually vote for. So are we dealing with a never Trump Republican? One of the funniest types of guys, like, well, I want to start wars, but civilly. I want to be able to lower the minimum wage to $7, but call someone sir or madam. It really pisses me off that he paid porn stars for pussy, but I want to do essentially the same stuff he wants to do. I love those guys. Those guys are awesome.
You're giving an internship. Yeah. You can transfer them out of your office. Who is paying for vaginals these days?
Those guys are fucking awesome. Anyway, this guy's awesome. Keep going, Eldest.
I don't know about the greatest, but most powerful country to ever exist in the history of the earth. And I just learned that one of my oldest and dearest friends of 15 years just didn't vote in the last election. And I think there are a handful of reasons that could be justified. But we had a long conversation about it, and we both got the chance to say our piece. And after hearing his whole side of the story, I cannot help but see him as anything, as not just a coward and a bitch. And it's making me so, it depresses me, it bums me out every time I think about him. Because it's just like, he's one of my oldest friends. I love him to death. And I thought I had a stronger ally in the humanity part of being a human. And I love him to death.
Support corporate Democrat. I mean, are you fucking paying attention, bro? Jesus Christ. This is what we delude ourselves into thinking. It's like, look, of course, don't vote for Trump, but are we pretending like shit's been going good? With fucking Joe Biden, didn't even know he was fucking alive half his term. The humanity of this shit. Are you kidding me? Kamala couldn't win a fucking. Anyway, this is fucking.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Let's finish
this is
a simple solution.
Human. And I love him to death. I'm not ready to throw away a 15-year friendship, but as much as I try, I've been arguing about it with myself still in my apartment for a month now, and I cannot mount a successful argument against myself that he's actually that good of a guy if he's willing to just stand aside and let that kind of a man take the reins of our own country. So, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here, but Stavi, you're wiser than I. Love you guys. Love the show. Thanks so much. Ciao.
I mean, wow, I have plenty of thoughts. First of all, I didn't vote for either of them. So stop listening to the show. Now, caveat, I live in New York. They were like, if I lived in a battleground state, maybe it would have pressed me more. I probably would have, who knows what push comes to shove. But like, there are caveats here. Where do you live? But go ahead, Roy. You actually fucking,
Is the issue, this is a message about how could you not vote. But it sounds like how could you not vote for Kamala?
Right, like if he voted for the Green Party, how would you feel? You know what I mean? Like it's like
I don't know. I think Joe, thank you for the message.
Thanks for the call, Joe.
I think that you cannot save this friendship if there is no respect. Now, we can argue the idea, and this is what all the voter apathy boils down to.
Yeah.
It's fucking, do you want the captain or which drunk pilot do you want to try and land?
Yeah.
That's politics. Hey, everybody, we're getting ready to crash. Yeah. We have two captains up here. One's drunk, one's on shrooms. Which would you like to vote?
And then
Joe's buddy is in the back going, neither of these are good fucking captains.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's crash. I'll just say it as a broader sense. I don't agree with not voting. And then you're going to still complain about shit. If you don't vote, like, people are going to go, well, I didn't vote. And this country's fucked. Well, then what are you doing to dethrone the two-party system or whatever? Trevor Noah showed me a South African, he has in his office, like, Mandela's ballot from the the year he won when he got out of prison, there's like 20 motherfuckers on the ballot. And it's like, that looks like a nice level-headed country where you have some level of all the candidates. Everybody's invited to the debates.
Sure.
So I understand the despair that your friend has in choosing not to vote. But if you feel, and clearly you do, this strongly about politics, you got to let that friendship die because there's nothing you're going to be able to do.
But it's also like, so you're not going to be friends with anyone that voted for Trump? I mean, that's all, because like, if the thing is, my friend didn't vote for Kamala Harris, so I can't be friends with them anymore. Like, that's and your issues with Trump, which I guess whatever. I get. I mean, I'm not pumped that Trump is president, but again, it's like, what if your friend had real issues with Gaza? I mean, what if he had fucking issues with like there were things that the Democrats did that they said they weren't going to change anything about. That it's like, I understand if it's a deal breaker for certain people to not vote for it, and it's even if I didn't agree with it, right? And it's like, this also opens up the philosophical discussion of, you don't have any friends that voted for Trump, and then it's like, if you want things to change, you gotta also have like, you gotta be open to, because I have friends who I mean, they're actually older relatives or whatever, but I also have friends who like, it's like, I think there are people that voted for Trump that aren't totally all the way gone.
Correct.
Right? That it's like,
but I believe those people are more single issue voters, and it's going.
Yeah.
It's like the whole fracking thing. If you are a fracker or a coal motherfucker, and Trump come in town and go, I fix coal, you don't give a fuck about deportations and birthright citizenship.
Yeah.
I'm trying to eat right here, and this dude said he got me.
Yeah.
So you're in such a despair, you're not even going to look through all the facts and look at the multi-layered corporations that are lying and that they actually aren't going to do anything to help your industry get back off the ground. I think that this term with Trump, it would be helpful to have, and I don't want to say softer approach because liberals look at it as, I have to sacrifice my humanity for your comprehension of why what's happening is bad for me. Right. So I'm not going to table my humanity to get to put knowledge into this person's head. But if you all stayed friends and just periodically you bring up whatever the fuck that's going on or this thing, it may be an opportunity to help get some policy permeated. Because I think a lot of people who voted for Trump are going to look up, and unless Trump is smart enough to know how to blame the Democrats at midterms for what he hasn't delivered on,
right?
If there are promises he has not delivered on, it will not be seen as incompetence within his administration. It'll be seen as, well, they're blocking me from doing the shit that I want to do.
But and you know this too. It's like, how many times, every time there's a big like win, there's always the midterms. Historically, it always comes back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it always, like, that's just how politics works, because you get in office promising a bunch of shit that doesn't happen, and so there's always like, it always comes back. So, yeah, I mean,
I can imagine this guy's friend too. Like, this guy sounds like every time any politics things comes up, he's going, how annoying he's going. He's going straight to the humanity of the greatest, like, most powerful country in the world. And
how many people did we kill in Iraq? How many? It's just like, what the fuck? America's fucking sucks, dude.
I mean, I don't think Joe is wrong in that regard. I just don't think that is an effective verbiage to reach people anymore.
But it's also, get off your fucking high horse. Voting are you actually doing anything, or did you actually vote? You know what I mean? It's like, I do take a little umbrage with these people that act like they have like, they're fucking civil servants of 30 years because they cast a vote. And maybe, because it was easy for them to do. It's like, Joe, are you that much better than your friend? Really? Like, that's my other question.
But that depends on, and that's why I say it goes back to, who did you vote for versus voting at all? Because if it's voter apathy and you just didn't take part in the system, I forget what the percentage was this year of
pretty high
total population, but it was well over half.
Yeah.
Like, which is not the norm.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, records. What was it like? What did Trump have? Like 83 million votes to like 77.
Yeah, I don't know. And I did vote for everything else, by the way. I was objecting to the fucking. It was like I live in a fucking state that's gonna get carried by the Democrats anyway, and I am objecting to how Biden fucking like the hubris of Biden to run again instead of finding. Democrats had 4 years to find a fucking successor.
Yeah, 77 million to 75, so it's a little over half the country. We're at 300 million as a nation.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's crazy.
I feel like I don't just to his question, because we can stay all day on the politics.
Yeah.
If you feel that strongly about politics, I do not see a path through for this friendship.
Sure.
Because you all have been friends until it hits something that truly means something to you that you are not going to bend on, nor should you. I just don't think that you can kind of demote people to an outer sphere, but if you're like me, you're either inner circle or you're fucking Pluto.
Right.
Like, I don't really have an in-between.
I kind of know what you're talking about. Yeah, I guess that's fair. If we're looking at this, and look, I agree, like, if this thing is that, if you have really thought about it, and it's that important to you, then yes, but I don't know that this is exactly the kind of thing that I would lose a friendship over. Like I said, I'm friends with people that I straight up disagree with. Yeah. And I would just think, as a human being, this is an issue. If we're casting aside people that you have, divisiveness is a problem. And if you're casting aside a 15-year friendship, if there's not more common ground, then it's like, how are you going to find common ground with people that you have less in common with? And how are we going to actually move forward with something because the real division.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Everyone, a lot of Trump voters have a lot more in common with you than they do with the ruling class that's actually sowing discord here. But that's my sort of thought here.
And I think we've learned that as comedians, because we've been on the road and we've seen every voting block and demo
totally
at a granular level.
Yeah.
Where you see someone as an individual, but when you put them in a collective, it completely looks different.
Definitely, yeah.
I completely understand why some people voted for Trump. Like, it's not, for a lot of people in this country, it's not about the bigger picture. It's just about what's happening for them on their street. And 100%. If it's so bad that you're willing to believe a potential lie, then it's like the comics who open for known joke thieves. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah.
You're willing to look. No shame working in that administration.
It's like, look, I need a couple grand a weekend, man. Bread. What do you want from me, dude?
Motherfucker is paying me nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you should be in the struggle.
Yeah.
The Monticello Watermelon Festival needs an opener. $200. No gas, no hotel.
No gas, no hotel. As many watermelons as you can carry, but no bags. So anyway, dude, that's our thought here. And at the end of the day, your enemy is not your friend of 15 years. It's billionaires who are trying to fucking keep everybody else fucking down. And that's another thing that shocked me. I went on Theo's podcast and I talked about how historically the conservatives are who like the ruling class and who billionaires support. And this is how good their propaganda is, that people didn't believe me. They were like, that's not true. The richest people support Democrats. It's like, that's just like a fact you can find in terms of, you can find that in terms of, and it might be more top individual billionaires, donors. But in terms of straight money that is poured in, it's always, historically, I would be willing to, I don't know this for a fact, but it's like, and it's like historically more has gone in from the richest people to conservative causes and candidates, and now it's even worse with Citizens United because you don't even have to disclose all that fucking shit.
Yeah, but that's the shell game that you're able to play on people who are just figuring out whether or not they're fracking coal mines, whatever the fuck, is going to be open tomorrow.
Yeah.
They don't have time.
For sure. It's like, to them, that's... But anyway, who gives a fuck? Let's get a question about jacking off or something.
If Trump said if you worked at Blockbuster Video and Trump said he was bringing back VHS cassettes, you're going to vote for him.
Yeah. You're right.
That's your fucking meal ticket.